Please welcome John.
That's what I'm going to do. OK. Hi, am I here? Thanks, Brady. Thanks for having me, everybody. It's great to be here. My name is John Geraci. I do a site called DIYcity.org. For as long as people have been making cities, they've had a tendency to centralize them in one regard or other, either making streets that are like spokes on a wheel that point to a citadel, or centralizing the government, or centralizing the water system. It's all always been centralized, their history. And it's been a very good strategy for success for big, complex cities in the absence of technology. You know, you want to centralize something, you get rapid execution, you get everybody on the same page with things. And so it's worked pretty well. So for 3,000, 5,000 years, centralization has been the way to go. Efficiency, effectiveness, yada, yada, yada. As all these public services that we've come to think of as essential to cities have come into being over the past couple hundred years, these have all been centralized also. So public transportation, police services, emergency care, public health, all these things, they're all centralized with very few ins, very few outs to the system, top-down dissemination of information. But this is what the world looks like today. You know, it doesn't look like a wheel with spokes. This is the internet, and this is the world we're living in. It's massively decentralized, it's massively complex, and also manages to be very efficient, very effective, very adaptive, very innovative. The services that we're using in our cities still look like this. They're still something that comes out of 200 years ago. So to use a metaphor, like if our cities were internet, it would be like if we had one server for the whole internet that everything had to come in and go out of, this massive monolithic thing with very few ins and very few outs. And that was our internet. Would that work as the internet? Well, it would probably, but it wouldn't work nearly as well as the internet we have. So the city is bursting with data. It's got data coming off of it like radiation coming off of a dirty bomb. You know, there's government data. Everybody's very familiar with that because it's becoming open. More and more of that coming online. You know, like bus schedules, 311 information, minutes from meetings, and all that. There's social stream data from individuals, you know, people twittering what they're doing, and it seems kind of inane at the individual level, but when you aggregate that, you can actually get some pretty interesting things going on. There's ambient data, people putting sensors and listening to when systems are turning on or turning off, or how many watts a particular system is giving off. And there's other kinds of data coming on all the time. So there's all this information coming off of the city. What if we just started tapping into that information and listening to it and using that as a platform for services in our city? What would that look like, and what would our cities look like with that? That's what DIYcity has been investigating and doing. It's a website of volunteers who just come up with ideas of ways to use technology to make their cities work better, open source technology, free technology from the web, and just simple ways that they can use that technology, hook into it to make cities work better. So some of the things they've come up with in the few short months we've been doing, DIYcity.org is a real-time disease tracker for your city. The way it works is currently it just monitors Twitter and looks for people talking about being sick. It says, people say, I've got the flu, or I've got a fever, or I've got sore throat. And the premise is that when conversation about sickness is high in a city, sickness is also high in the city. And when conversation is low, sickness is low. That worked really well for about a month when we launched it, and then swine flu hit, and conversation about sickness went sky high, but sickness itself didn't actually budge. And so that was sort of a tweak in the system. It's going to, I think it will cause DIYcity to get better eventually. But we've got the New York Department of Health looking at this. We've got a lot of health researchers interested in this. I mean, the idea is that you can tune into the data of the city and get sort of a real-time picture of what's going on. And it can be data that people can use, individuals can use, organizations can use, the city itself can use, and everybody can be putting into it. Another example is DIY traffic. This is a system that is easily configurable for any city in the world, and anybody can just put any sort of feed they want into it that's traffic related, hopefully. So, Yahoo traffic feeds, Twitter feeds, and then you can parse those for people talking about accidents on a street, SMS messages, whatever you want. And then you can query the system for your traffic route or your commute route or your exact location. Or if you wanted to make an iPhone app about this, you could just query it for your surroundings right now. So it's this sort of configurable for any city. Anybody can add a data point to it as they want, and it just gets better and better. You can do DIY bus tracking, which is something that we're working on with top labs in New York City. The city of New York has been trying to do bus tracking for 20 years and failing, and it's cost them something like $14 million so far, and it's forecast to cost them a lot more. And we said, people want bus tracking, Is this really a problem that the city needs to be solving? What if we everybody put a pinger on their smartphone and activated it when they got on the bus? You could pretty easily create some sort of system that could tell you where buses are. So we're experimenting with that right now. I mean, I feel like that's a ways off, but it's definitely something doable in the future. Other applications we're working on, DIY crime alerts, bike shares, taxi sharing systems, local delivery networks, ride-sharing applications. And all these things are things that can be done without the city's input. So why should we be waiting for the city to do this? The city isn't offering ride-sharing applications or bike-sharing systems. Some cities are doing bike-sharing systems, but a lot aren't. So these are all things that people can do themselves very easily with their smartphones and with mapping and location and a few servers. Why not just do them ourselves? So this is a recipe for the DIYcity, is to identify all the data streams from all sources about a particular topic in a city, aggregate it, sort it, and map it, redistribute it in real time to the people and entities who can use it to help them make decisions. And that's really the key point here, is to get data, all the data from the city that's useful, and pipe it back into the city in real time to the people that can use it to make decisions and make informed decisions. And then have everybody using that same data pool, rather than having services that are created by government. The data points are created by government and given out to people. It should be this one big data ecosystem that everybody's sort of giving into and getting out of, and everybody has access to. What this gets you is a city that behaves more like the internet. Like I said, infinite ins and outs. Services that can improve organically without government oversight. And a feedback system for the city, which the city can see and react to its own data. And that's really the key thing here, is that if you can create that sort of feedback system for a city, you can get the city behaving more intelligently and possibly create some sort of emergence where cities are more efficient, more effective, more sustainable. And I feel like that is the vision of the future of our cities. And that's DIYcity. Thank you.